You got half calf.
That's with the half calf. We're good. Okay, hi. I'm Jessica Abernathy. Most of y'all know me. Hi. I'm going to talk about something that I'm pretty open about with my social media. If you talk to me in person, I'm going to talk about growing up with anxiety and how that has shaped me as a mom. So I grew up in Mansfield and lived there my whole life. I'm the oldest of three. I have a younger sister and a younger brother. We were raised in church. I've never known a life without church. Church has just definitely been the foundation that I grew up on. And I could not tell you what a life without Jesus is. I don't remember a time when I was not a Christian. So even with all of that being said, when I was in third grade, I started having issues. I was always complaining about body aches. My chest hurt, my head hurt, my back hurt, everything hurt, and I was dying all the time. And along with that, I was severely attached to my younger sister, Sarah, to the point that it was not a normal thing. She was in first grade, and I just very vividly remember I would leave my third grade class and go to the bathroom, and then I'd go and I'd stand outside her classroom and look in the window at her, and I would just stand there and cry and cry and cry and cry. And because I just wanted her, I didn't want anybody else, I just wanted Sarah. And we had recess together that year, which I don't know if normally third grade and first grade would be at recess together, but we did. And I know that God put us there because she was my only friend. I did not want friends in third grade. I did not want anybody. I just wanted Sarah. So the body aches, that attachment to my sister, and then came the crazy hand washing to the point that I had raw skin on my hands all the time. They were cracked and bleeding. I was so scared of germs. So scared. I, one time, was carrying groceries in and carrying in the bag that had meat in it, sent me into a panic, and I had to go wash my hands. And I'm didn't even touch the meat, touched the bag that the packaged meat was in, and still freaked out. So all of these things are happening. And my mom one day was sitting at her desk at work and saw a picture of me on her desk, and I, you smile in pictures. And she's I don't remember the last time I saw Jessica smile. And I was 8 years old, and she couldn't tell you the last time that I smiled. So she took me to the doctor, and she gave me a piece of paper and said, write down everything that hurts. And I filled up a whole sheet of paper, and we go in, we talk to him, and he was oh, okay. So I was 8 years old when I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and OCD. And so I started medicine, I started therapy, and it took a few months, but then things were back to normal. So I remember fourth grade was a lot better. High school was okay. I feel like it's like that for everybody. So fast forward, me and my husband decided that we wanted to have a baby. So I started to wean myself off my medicine, because that's what everybody ever says that you have to do to have a baby, is you can't take anything ever or your baby will be severely harmed, right? And so I went off my meds, we got pregnant, and I was 14 weeks pregnant when I started having really bad panic attacks. And it was to the point that I was in the ER because I was convinced that I was leaking fluid and that I was gonna miscarry, or, it was terrible. It was something every week. I was not enjoying my pregnancy. It was not fun. To the point that I was just wishing it was I was done. I wish he was here. You wish that anyways, but there was no glow. It was not good. And God was definitely using pregnancy to teach me that I was not in control. This was something happening to my body that I could not control, that I could not, make go away with hand washing, or, the panic attacks are going to happen, and I had to find something to work. So these kept happening until my third trimester, and then I went for like a normal appointment, and I made them do like whatever that test is that's going to see like if you're going to deliver early. I don't know, but the nurse saw like how affected by this I was, and she advocated for me to my doctor, and she said she needs to go back on her medicine. This is not okay. Whatever's happening to her, this stress is going to cause more harm to the baby than any medicine would. So went back on a super low dose of my medicine, and then it was like super awesome all the time. I don't know if it was a placebo effect. People will say that the dose that I was on didn't do anything. Whatever, it tricked my brain into thinking that everything was fine. And so whenever I can pull myself out of that spiral with the help of medication, that helps me be able to turn my brain back to where God is and see that He is in control, that this is about Him and not about me. So where am I? I gave birth to my daughter Ava November 2015, and then pretty much immediately had postpartum depression and anxiety, which I should have been like, oh, duh. But, didn't really expect it. I don't know why. I cried all the time, sobbed, cried, not like normal, like baby bluesy crying, but like not okay crying. And I had to go back to work when she was 9 weeks old. It was awful. Instead of that attachment to Sarah, I was like, I had that attachment to Ava. Like, I did not want anybody else to hold her, like not even Thomas. I wanted her all to myself. People would be like, can I hold her? I'm like, no. She got RSV when she was 2 months old and was hospitalized with that. And so then there's I'm scared she's gonna get sick, so I don't want to take her to church. And so because of all of these things, we were not going back to church until she was 6 months old. And even then I was just not into it because I just wanted to be with her, or I don't know. I did not want to be at that church. Flip my page. I got pregnant again when Ava was 13 months old. And at this pregnancy, and I had already decided this, after Ava was born, I said, any pregnancy I have after this, I'm staying on my medicine. So I stayed on the same low dose of medicine when I was pregnant, and it was just totally different pregnancy. I had bleeding in the first trimester, but it was not immediate panic for me. It was, okay, I'm going to trust my doctors. I'm going to trust that God knows what He's doing, and I'm not going to Google anything. And everything worked out. It was great. And so when with this pregnancy, I felt like I was okay to give it to God. I knew that He had proven Himself in that, and I can trust Him with that. But that was just one area that I was giving Him. I had my second daughter, Molly, in August 2017. Ava was 20 months old. So I had my 2 under 2, which I would have never, ever, ever done myself. But God likes to use my circumstances to teach me things. And He was showing me that I am not in control and that I need to give everything to Him, not just little parts of my life. I started MOPS when Molly was 3 weeks old. And I walked in the room and I knew exactly 2 people in the room. And that was just absolutely terrifying. But it was definitely God placing me and my family where we needed to be. Throughout that year, we still did not go to church regularly. We were going to a church in Mansfield, and we live in Maypearl, so it was a long drive, and it was just not worth it. And I didn't like the worship, and the preaching was and so I just did not want to go. but it was the church I grew up in, and it's all I had really ever known, and I don't like change. So we like worked up the courage and finally like talked to Thomas, and I was like, I think I want to try coming to FBC. And he was like, okay, like he has friends here, so okay. So we come, and the first time that we're here, it was home. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Just like an overwhelming peace whenever I was in that service. And it was absolutely where we were supposed to be. So we started, that was May of 2018. And then through that summer, I was really struggling with like postpartum rage, which I don't know if any of you have experienced, but it's a for real thing. And I remember I posted in the MOPS group, and I was like, I need help. And I went and saw a counselor at Creek Bend, which I highly recommend if anybody needs help. Like, amazing. They'll work with you financially. Like, and if I like we had not come to FBC, if I had not come to MOPS, I would like really, it scares me to think like what my life would be because of how angry I was. And only toward my daughter, Ava, like not toward anybody else, toward my poor little like 3-year-old. That's the only person I yelled at. So I'm really, really, really glad that I had MOPS and FBC to help me out there. So then, right after all that happened, I start working at NABS, which is the best place in the entire world to work, in case anybody wants to apply soon. And whenever I started working at NABS, that's when I met my best friend now. And y'all, I'm gonna cry. Like I can't look at her. It was a very organic friendship. It was something that only happened because we were both placed where God needed us to be. We encourage each other. She helps me find positive in my life. I'm just like a super negative person. Like I know people that see me like don't see that, but my brain, my anxiety always finds the absolute worst possible situation that's going to happen, and that's where I immediately go no matter what. And so like Carly pulls me out of that. She's like, Jessica, stop. And she's not afraid to call me on it, and she's not afraid to like get me out. Did it fix it? Mm-hmm. Thanks. And Carly saw it, and she said, Jessica, you need to go get help. Like, you're not okay. And so I went to the doctor, and I told him something that I had not told anybody because I was really, really afraid that they were going to take my kids away from me if I ever admitted how I was feeling. And I told him, I said, it's not that I want to die, but I don't want to be alive. It's too much. Everything is so heavy, and I can't exist in this. And it's like scary that there are people out there that feel like that can't admit it because we're so afraid of like I said, I don't want somebody to take my kids away. Like I love them. I don't want anything bad to happen to them, but it was just a lot. Everything felt big. And so he was like very understanding, and he said, okay, so that's like okay to feel that way. And do something about it. So we added in another medication, and I had never, like in my life, expected to be on multiple medicines for anxiety and depression. Like that's not something you go into life thinking that you're gonna, have. But that medicine has helped me so much. Whenever I have these, I don't want to feel like I'm preaching, like everybody needs meds. I'm not like. But for me, like whenever I have them, it pulls me enough out of my spiral that I'm able to turn to God. Because whenever I am so far deep in that pit of depression that I can't see anything, like it's just not possible. So that has helped me just so much. So yay for doctors. So I'm probably gonna cry at this part too. My like brain, and if you ever talk to me, I talk about my brain a lot and how I hate it, and how I hate that I have an imbalance in my brain that makes me feel this way, that tells me lies every day. It tells me that I'm a bad mom, and that I'm a bad wife, and that I'm a bad friend, and that people don't like me. And like, that's a way that Satan is grasping at me, trying to get me to, turn away from God and believe those lies. But God, he tells me the truth, that I am a good mom, and I'm a good wife, and I'm a good friend, and that people do like me. And now I have like 2 best friends that God has given me whenever I prayed for them. And I could not do life without like Rachel and Carly. And they help me more than they ever know. Like, our families are best friends now. Our husbands hang out without us, which is something I never would have expected. And God has answered so many prayers for all of us. It's just been a great year of God showing how faithful he is. And I know that he's going to keep proving that he is faithful to me and my family. And I'm just really excited to see that. Yay, thank you.
We love you, Jessica.
You want me to do that?
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
Okay. Our